Hey everyone, the Nerdy Steve here, and today we will be featuring an Abzan Greasefang deck and Explorer. The list is in the description below. I'm going to talk about the general plan of the deck, and then we'll play a couple of games. So, let's go. If you played Explorer at all in the past couple months, you probably encountered this deck, or even played this deck. And so, Greasefang Okiba Boss is a 4/3 creature that at the beginning of combat, on your turn, you return a vehicle from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, and then you return it to your hand afterwards. So, how this deck works, or its goal is, we have cards like Mulch, Raffine's Informant, Stitcher Supplier, Grisly Salvage, and Witherbloom Command to mill vehicles from our library or discard them from our hand into our graveyard. And then once we have Greasefang out, we reanimate that card and attack with it and get a really, really big, strong advantage. And so what are the vehicles we're reanimating? Parhelion, which creates lots of angels and can be lethal in like 1 or 2 turns. And then we have Esika's Chariot, which creates cats and then can crew and attack and make more tokens and cats. Now, why Abzan over any of the other colors of for Greasefang? This Esika's Chariot is one of the really most powerful vehicles that we have. It's up there, like, with, that you can reanimate with Parhelion and Sky Sovereign. But because this deck is green, in case you didn't notice, it can cast Esika's Chariot on turn 4. And that's wonderful. As an alternative plan for when you don't have Greasefang going, or when your opponent has graveyard removal and you can't reanimate stuff, being able to cast your powerful vehicles is a really, really good plan to win the game. And, so as an alternative to if you don't get your Greasefang or the mill stuff, you can just cast an Esika's Chariot and win through the power of that card, of this card alone. And that's what makes this version kind of appealing and different from the other ones, is that Esika's Chariot is really, really powerful, and being able to play it and use it is going to win you some games where you couldn't otherwise. But for the most part, it's just as consistent. We have lots of mill, we have lots of ways to get cards into the graveyard, so it's not really missing out that aspect from the Esper or Mardu versions. It just has a little different, game plan, and it has a little more benefit versus, decks that have a lot of graveyard removal. So, with all that being said, let's go see how it performs and play some games. I'm not entirely in love with this hand, but it does have a couple things that are appealing to it, right? And that is we get to turn to Grisly Salvage, and if we get a land and mill a Parhelion or a Chariot, we get to reanimate that on the 3rd turn, right? So right now we have our combo if we mill something. So I think the potential for that, even though we don't necessarily have it, was worth the risk. And sadly, it didn't pay off necessarily. So what I'm going to do is Can't Stay Away, the Old Rutstein, because that's going to help mill us and maybe find a vehicle or something. And then we'll just wait next turn. So, I don't even really know what Old Rutstein does. It was just in the deck list, and I know it mills. And quite frankly, that's fine. So, it mills a card at the beginning of our upkeep and when it enters the battlefield. And then it creates a bunch of stuff when it does that. Okay. Easy to know. Still not getting a... Target player mills 3 cards and return a land from graveyard to your hand. If we get rid of the Chariot here, and we draw a land, we can Greasefang the Chariot back. Sadly, that did not happen, so we'll just wait again. So this is really, really bad. For us, we're giving the opponent a lot of time. They seem to be on the Boros heroic deck, which I, made a video for the other day. You should go watch. So we're just, kind of beholden to what they're doing. Thankfully, Dreadhorde Arcanist isn't the most... They could have a lot more other explosive creatures, so... We're still, like, not great, because this is a lot to, going on here. And our opponent's playing like they have another Reckless Rage in hand to kill our Greasefang. Huh. I think I want another land. But what we'll do here is Greasefang and hope our opponent doesn't have any interaction, and then we can get our Chariot going. But our opponent definitely has a Reckless Rage, and that's a little sad. But again, we are at 15. That's a decent amount of life. Uh-oh. Our opponent's gonna do a lot of damage, though. A lot of damage. Yeah. 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We're gonna go to 2. Ouch. So I'm gonna just Sorin here.
Let me remind you to fear those born of darkness.
Return Greasefang. We'll do that. Greasefang will get back a Chariot. We'll crew that. Attack. Gain some life. Our opponent GG'd us. So I'm assuming there's a lot going on here. Yeah. Okay, GG. I think this is an okay hand. We don't have white mana. Well, now we do. But we get to Stitcher Supplier and then Courtyard into Grisly Salvage to a potential third turn Greasefang. If we get, something to mill that's relevant in the next couple of turns, we're in a really good spot. Our opponent doing work here. Again, didn't mill anything I wanted. If we milled a Greasefang and a Parhelion, we could have Can't Stay It Away and done our combo on the second turn, which is really, really fun and powerful. Sadly, that didn't happen. But it is something that can... Uh-oh. This isn't good. We have the Parhelion, though. So we do get this going. But we're going to take a lot of damage here. But I'm sure it's fine. Parhelion returns. If our opponent has an Ember Cleave, we still might be dead. A Torbrin? Nope, we won. GG. Okay, we'll keep this hand. The Grisly Salvage and Mulch can find a lot of stuff. And so we could potentially go off very, very soon. Alright, now we just need to get a land with the salvage. And mill one of these. And then we're good to go, right? But also... dang. This is one of the things I like about this version of the deck. It seems much more consistent than... Like, we're always just one card away, right? And it's a little unfortunate that, you know, that's always what it feels like. Because we're always so close to getting the combo. But that's magic, right? Doesn't make the deck bad. Because there's just a couple of times where if we draw a land, we can go off in the third turn. Or if we mill correctly. But it's kind of very appealing here. You know what? I didn't even, like, consider the Graveyard Trespasser messing us up there. That's fine. We get to Chariot now, which I like a lot. Because if our opponent attacks, we get to block it. And unless it won't get exiled, right? So we're in a pretty good spot, I think. Like, the Chariots just kind of run away with the game, I think, maybe. And that's just one of the appeals of this version of the deck, right? Okay. We're gonna Can't Stay Away a Stitcher Supplier. If we, like, reanimated a land, it would have been really, really cool. Let's do this and attack. Our opponent double blocks, we get to kill the Kalitas. And I think that's fine. Obviously, our Chariot will get exiled. But now if our opponent attacks, we get to block with the Supplier and trigger it. And that seems relatively fine and good. And the Trespasser isn't exiling that many cards a turn. Like, it's a very, very slow exile effect. It's really, really good and pinpointed. But we should be able to get something over the next couple of turns that can do stuff, right? I'm not too worried. I'm a little worried. Like, we're not really afraid of Sorin or the Blood Crypt. But there are other two cards that we're potentially afraid of. Ooh, that's an interesting sound effect. Go Sorin. So our opponent is milling the Parhelion, so this is probably an attack. Which means we can double block the Trespasser. Okay. Chandra is probably, what, gonna kill the Supplier? No, alright, that's fine. So that's gonna get rid of the Parhelion, and then we get to do this. Oh, wait, why didn't... Oh, I forgot Can't Stay Away has the exile clause. Ugh. My bad, everyone. I apologize for that. I bet you people were like, Steven, what are you doing? We'll get rid of Chandra here.
I don't need this.
let's get this Greasefang, because now if our opponent attacks, we can kill the Trespasser, and I think that's a really high priority here. Because, yeah, this Greasefang will go away, and we'll lose I Can't Stay Away. But, you know, we still have another Greasefang in our hand. Though we are getting a little... I'm a little worried about what's potentially going on here. That's a fine, I think, attack for us. Because we still block here. Our opponent only has a Sorin. Oh, that's beautiful. Let's Mulch. 1, 2. We got a Chariot there. Beautiful. We get it. We get to reanimate it. And now we're golden. Go. It returns to our hand, which we can recast eventually. Also, if 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 7. If you ever really need to with the Greasefang, you could, because Esika's Chariot is legendary, you can cast both in the same turn. If you really want to get one into your graveyard. Oh god, I just skipped through it. Uh-oh, everyone. We gave our opponent a really, really big out by not attacking here. Uh-oh. That was unintentional. I thought I did. And then I just pressed through the spacebar. But it's okay. We'll breathe and we'll recover and it will be fine.
Consider yourself fortunate our motives align. You will serve me well.
Alright, let's see what we can get here. We're gonna mill. Again, we're giving our opponent some information, but, like, it's fine. So we have to do this. We're gonna go into combat. We'll send 2 at Sorin. And there. So now Sorin definitely dies. Oh, wow, I made another huge mistake. I could have just cast this Esika's Chariot to create 2 cat tokens. Let this Chariot die, then crew the older one and attack with that without tapping any of our cats here. And maybe if we then sent everything at our opponent would have been lethal. But, you know, who knows? Regardless, we did it. This is an interesting hand. Again, I'm still learning how to play with the Grisly Salvage. We can, like, go off pretty reliably with it. It's kind of funny, because if we get a land here, and mill a Parhelion... Alright, we did mill a Parhelion. And now we get a get a Greasefang, we can then reanimate it. We can't stay away. Let's Thoughtseize here. Our opponent's gonna Grisly Salvage. So it's the mirror match. We have to figure out what's going on. I wanna... Cobwaltz. Let's get rid of Thoughtseize. Let's Mulch. Alright, we have the Greasefang, so next turn we can reanimate it. With Can't Stay Away, and we're fine. Alright, beautiful. GG. Okay. This seems pretty great. We have a Thoughtseize on turn 1. We have Witherbloom Command to get rid of something problematic. Or potentially mill. Okay. What do we want to get rid of? The Arcanist or the Legionnaire? We'll get rid of... Or do we want to get rid of the Reckless Rage? Huh. The Arcanist. I think... our clock is gonna be rough with this, because we have to Okiba gang twice in a row. Maybe we could have just taken this and let it go kill us once. Oh, alright, another one. No red mana here, though. Also, I forgot that was a sorcery, so I apologize, everyone. I literally thought Witherbloom Command was an instant. Very easy mistake to make. So... Uh-oh. This is going to be interesting. I don't know in particular what we can really draw to get out of this. I think our best out is our opponent to make a mistake. But we'll see. Oh, I guess we do get to Witherbloom Command and kill the Illuminator Virtuoso. So that's not too terrible. I don't know what's going on with our opponent. But we can talk this out, though. If the Legionnaires live, I think the counter's already been put on it. We're on a 3-turn clock. But with the Titan Strength, we go down to 2. So we have to do something during our next turn. Our opponent has either disconnected or is deciding what to do here. Also, that effect is so cool. Put it on top. Alright, it looks like our opponent disconnected, and honestly, I'm not gonna complain that much. So... we'll mill 3 cards, and we'll kill that. White, black. Let's get back Old Rutstein. You know, sometimes you just need good practice as well. So we can just talk about this. Like, again, we were really, really close to going off early. I also should have paid more attention to the Witherbloom command. Everyone, now that I have talked about how it is a sorcery and not an instant, that should help you. Because it definitely was something I am very happy to realize right now. And that's one I talk about this a lot, and I know like that was a big mistake, but one of the things that comes with playing a lot of new cards and practicing with decks is literally learning what they do. And there are so many times you can be playing a deck for like 10 games or even more, and you realize that there is a card behaves in a very significant way than what you thought it would. And it's good to get that out of the way when you're not in a tournament or, playing for something. So glad I learned, and hopefully I'll remember. GG. Well, thank you all for watching me play some Abzan, Greasefang, and Explorer. Like all the Greasefang decks, it's fun. And it's really, I think, my most enjoyable part of this deck, or these decks, is when you have the potential to go off on the third turn, and you're just kind of playing your mill cards, hoping everything lines up. And that is something I really enjoy. Obviously, it's like, it's a little of that randomness, but it's definitely very much a calculated risk. But it's a risk that if it doesn't go your way, okay, you'll go off next turn. But like that, just the thought of, okay, I can mulch on my second turn, mill a Parhelion, and then win on my third turn, like out of nowhere, it's just beautiful. And this is the type of deck that for the people who like that, it's good. But also, there's always that puzzly aspect, and calculating your odds is just always fun and great. And there are a lot of things that you can do with these types of decks to change it a little bit. There's always the different numbers of what you can want. Maybe you want a Sky Sovereign over a Chariot, or something like that. Sorin and Old Rutstein could be maybe different cards. And that's something that you can play with and experiment with and see what works for you. And there are, but all in all, you can't really go wrong with this deck. It's pretty, conceptually easy to pilot, but there's a lot to learn. And I think it's a very rewarding thing for a lot of people to see the nuances, and it really helps you plan it really encourages people to plan out their turns to do well with it. And I think that's something, if people practice with, is a really, really good step in becoming a better Magic player. With all that being said, if you haven't already, you should totally like, comment, or subscribe. You could also watch me stream live at twitch.tv/thenerdysteve, which are great ways to support me. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and thanks for watching. Bye.